Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gents. It's Corey Wesley coming to you live and in living color from New York, Harlem, to be exact. Welcome to another segment of Kitchen Table Talk with Corey Wesley. Yesterday, I did not do a kitchen table talk because I got up, looked for my poll, made sure it was still at the same location, and then I went to vote. And so I felt like that was more important than me doing a little kitchen table talk. However, I do urge everyone out there to go and vote. This is your opportunity to be heard. We are in a crisis. Racial disparities, social disparities, and also just humanity in itself is at jeopardy. However, we're in a basically on the top of the totem pole is that we have this racial issue that has bubbled to the surface. I, however, needed also yesterday a little time to myself. I think, as you know, in California, African Americans were found hung, and then here in New York as well. And it's something that's really distressing to me. And as an African American, I am fatigued. I know they have such a thing called quarantine fatigue. So on top of that, I'm quarantine fatigue and I'm racism fatigue and just all the negativity. I mean, someone said made an example on Instagram that made me wonder. When go if your kitchen is dark and then all of a sudden you turn on the lights, the roaches are there and then they scatter. But you sorry. It's just that the thing about it is that this has brought all these races up to the surface, and although they've always been there, it's just taxing on people of color to see all the negativity of what's being said and reading comments and just from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook, and then even people that you once followed or you follow, and now they're starting to show you a side to themselves that is just not coincide with who you are, coincide with me as a black person. I'll speak for myself as a black person. I'm just like, oh, I gotta get this person off my page. And then it's hard for me sometimes to do that because sometimes I know them personally and their views are a little skewed, but they're individuals that I know that I can't have a conversation with because I don't personally know them. To it's not even worth it for me. Although I would love to go in, but then it's just the hard part about it is he's a cool person or a cool girl or a guy, but then that just to me their viewpoints are on the teeter-totter on the racist side. And so that gets scary at the time because it's like, do they really know that they're racist? And I don't think a lot of people, Caucasian people, realize that they're racist. Just by the things they post and things that they say, they try to negate what you're saying. Just like I bring up the humanity thing. I've had a few people, not just one, but a few people go, I said, I'm scared that we're going to be in a race war and that black men are dying out here and we're getting fed up, and as you can see, change hasn't. Just black man got shot in the back in Atlanta. Black men are being hung and being found hung. So it's ironic when someone comes in and changes your narrative when you're saying, oh, well, we're going to be in a race war, and they're like, it's against humanity. It's almost saying like all Black Lives Matter. It's like you're changing the narrative again. Like some people just don't even think. I think they don't really, because with social media is so open for dialogue and communication, but I think some people just don't realize that they're not even helping the argument of what someone is saying. You may not agree, your philosophies might not be the same, but someone who, like myself, I do research. I do research. Look at that. Yes. I am smart enough to do research. And sometimes negating people, and they're starting to just prompt people for a thought process. Some things are not up for debate. And so I needed to check out yesterday because I don't want to curse out people. I feel like it is time my hurt has been, I processed my anger, I've processed my hurt. I'm still in the same place that I am. However, I have been sitting down constantly figuring out how can I help this? What can I do? Because one, I know I can't dismantle racism. That's a Caucasian thing. I stand by that. I will say it over and over and over again until people start to realize that it is not a black thing, it's a white thing. However, I used to work in finance. I used to be a corporate trainer. I worked in finance for 15 years. I took the Series 7, the 63. I know finance. And I'm like, well, what, Corey? Go back to that background now that I have my own business and I do home decor and the creative field, because working in finance broke me down. I even sued my company for discrimination, and I did win. So I definitely understand discrimination. I understand racism very well. However, I wanted to, as I said earlier, I asked God, I'm very spiritual, I asked God, how can I help? What can I tell people? What can I say? And I know that people are out here protesting. And as we can see, black men are still getting killed. Even after George Floyd, a man gets shot in his back. 2 men in California found hung. A man here in New York, although they claim it as suicide, found hung. This is not stopping. So, and I know that I've did videos before where I said Caucasian people have to help us. But where can they help us? They need to understand that in 2018, the annual median income from African Americans reached only $41,361. White median income valued at $70,642. Do you see that disparity? That's different right there. A very high percentage there. And we're at the low totem pole with Native Americans. Believe it or not, the Hispanics make more than the African Americans. They're at $51,450. On the poverty level, we have white Americans at 10%, and only about 10% of white Americans and Asian Americans live below the poverty line. African Americans, 17.6. And that's a rate half than African Americans half of what the white America is facing. Sorry, I'm reading it, and I should just trying to make sure you understand the facts. And the Native Americans, unfortunately, have the highest poverty line rates with 25%. From unemployment, educational achievement, and then the really most important part and the point of what I wanted to bring up to you is that white households have a median net worth of $147,000. Black households have a median family net worth of a mere $3,600. And that upsets me. And why? Because we're out here protesting. We've been protesting for decades. And the issue here is that the system is broken. How can we fix the system? Unfortunately, it's going to take a lot, but it's going to take a lot of our Caucasian brothers and sisters who are out there. I see it and I'm appreciative. But now we have to reposition our thought process a little. And now you have to invest in black-owned businesses. I will now say this from a financial standpoint. And if you understand how this money is circular, it will then help the cause. You can post little black boxes, great. You can march, and yes, great. You definitely need to vote, that is for sure. But in order to kind of shift the paradigm, you have to invest in black businesses. You have to invest in black owners. You have to share their, and when they say amplify black voices, yes. But financially, you have to. I just proved I gave you numbers. You have to buy stuff from black business owners. Constantly, you gotta get your friends to buy black business stuff. Even my black brothers and sisters. I watched last night on Netflix, Killer Mike's show. I recommend watching the first episode, where he tried to do everything black, meaning like, he couldn't do anything that was created or made by any other ethnic background. He had to do it all black. And how difficult it was. He had to go and find a bike shop so he could, because he couldn't, there's no car owners. We don't make cars. So he couldn't do that. Then he had to buy a bike from he went to a bike owner. He had to go to a black grocery. It was so hard for him to find these things, black owned, even in Atlanta. So I highly recommend watching it. It's the Killer Mike. But I think where we now need to strategize in changing racism is generational wealth in the black community has to be developed. And we also what we need is to really invest in these companies so that we can start owning things. I watched that video with the African American woman, and she was breaking it down, and she's actually right that we don't own anything. So then when people are out here, and I don't agree with the writing, I think once after a while it turns into stealing. I get it, and I don't want to debate about it. But what I will say is people are pissed off and they don't own any of that shit. From a financial standpoint, we don't own any of it. It's not our neighborhoods. And just even like from my company, my manufacturing is not all black, and I also know how hard it is to be considered a black company in America, because white people say, Caucasian people say, oh, that's a black company, I can't buy from them. I've heard it, and I am a business owner. I will tell you that's what's been said, and that's what's done. And then they turn the other cheek. I know these black boxes on your profiles makes you feel good, like you're doing something, but that's not doing anything, honey. That is not doing anything. I will post the link on my site, on the link below for my YouTube channel, and you can go read for yourself. So basically, in essence of this talk here, table talk, is that you really need to spend your money in black communities. I mean, there are many ways to find black companies and owners, and if you like an owner and you like what they're talking about, you like who they are, and you just support them and continue to support them. And I guarantee you're gonna like their products. I've been spending a lot of money. This week I have purchased at least 10 different products from different black-owned businesses, because now I understand the financial impact it's going to make on my community. It doesn't mean that I'm going to shop less at another one, but I know that right now, in this era for protesting and making a change, I have to put my dollars in black communities. Black communities need it right now. So, if you have a couple of extra dollars, if you have something, buy a t-shirt, buy a mug. And again, this is not a PSA from my company. I have a company, you can go visit it, buy something. If not, find a black business owner that you do like and want to invest in his products. I guarantee you'll be happy. I guarantee you'll help the community. The money will start to go into our communities and uplift. We'll be able to hire our youth. We'll be able to give our youth training. I wish I could hire people because I don't make enough to hire youth, but I would. And they would learn so much from me. I've worked in finance. I have my own business. Black youth would learn a lot. People of color would learn a lot from men and women like myself, but who can't afford to help our communities the way we would like to. Because basically, we're barely making it. Thank you again for watching Kitchen Table Talk. I love you all. Support your Black businesses. Remember to subscribe to my channel. And have a great day. And remember, today is the best day ever. And you know why? Because you were a part of it. Stay blessed, everyone.